Hey guys, and welcome back to the Aether Hub, and for you members of the Vorthos army watching this video early on Patreon, thanks as always for your support on the channel. I'm Simon here bringing you more Magic the Gathering lore with a Guilds of Ravnica spoiler thrown in there for good measure. So headed into spoiler season, I was planning on reviewing every spoiler as they came out, and well, yeah, there's like a ton of spoilers. I just don't have the time of a full-time YouTuber to be up to date on all that, so trust other sources for all the latest spoilers. But what I will be doing is looking at the specific legendary and story spotlight cards spoiled for Guilds of Ravnica, reviewing them and their lore. That seems a lot more manageable and up my alley. So let's get this video started with one of the biggest players in the Selesnya Conclave, making her return in Guilds of Ravnica with her new card, Emmara, Soul of the Accord. Yep, Emmara is back and better than ever, literally, at least in my opinion. She's a 2/2 legendary elf cleric for Selesnya colors. Whenever she's tapped, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. This card will be insane in some of these new Selesnya decks for standard. Remember, there's going to be a lot of extra tapping when paying for convoke costs, one of this guild's primary mechanics, so lots of room for 1/1 lifelink tokens, which I also know will get a lot of love because Selesnya loves tokens. So yeah, Emmara def got an upgrade here. Amazing limited card that makes tokens all day demanding removal, and will probably find a place in a new deck for standard. Let's just compare her new card to her previous version, the one from the Return to Ravnica block. Wow, what an upgrade. Sure, the body's a bit smaller, and she still cares about tokens, but I feel like at 2 mana, Soul of the Accord does more of the things Selesnya cares about, that being tokens and convoke, than does the original Emmara. But what about her character, and what could she be doing in the Guilds of Ravnica storyline? What's the history of Emmara? Well, as you would imagine, Emmara Tandris is an elf and elementalist of the Selesnya Conclave on the plane of Ravnica. As a tried and true Selesnyan, Emmara guards and defends what natural life remains within the city limits of this massive city plane, planting the roots of her people and their temples, seeding the growth and prosperity of her guild, as led and commanded by their Guildleader, Trostani, a 3-headed dryad that speaks for their guild's founder, Selesnya. Emmara is one of the highest ranking and most influential figures in Selesnyan culture, standing as a symbol of hope after the guild's dramatic collapse following the riots on Ravnica with the guild pact's first dissolution. Without the magical protections of the planeswalker Azor in place, the guild waged war and Selesnya burned. With a new non-magical agreement in place, the guild stopped murdering each other for a time enough for Emmara and her guild to grow back. During this time is when she first met up with a young telepath named Jace Beleren, who actually used an alias at the time, and a friendship quickly bloomed. Emmara helped him uncover information on the Infinite Consortium, a shadowy artifice organization led by Tezzeret and operating on multiple planes. Jace found them and joined their ranks, only to be tortured and nearly killed by his leader, Tezzeret, which is a whole story in and of itself, and we'll get into that in a different video. Emmara was the one who healed him a few times, but eventually lost contact. It wasn't until thugs from the Consortium came to her looking for Jace did she become concerned for her friend. It would be one Liliana Vess who would bring Jace back to Emmara, again broken and bloodied. She healed him once again, but 2 paths now lay in front of Jace. Liliana wanted to attack Tezzeret. Emmara wanted him to drop it and hide. The group was then attacked by Tezzeret's assassins, forcing Jace's hand. He went with Liliana to kill Tezzeret, although we all know how that was unsuccessful. Emmara would once again return to the service of her guild, serving under Trostani themselves under a special mission to investigate the Izzet League. This is where we first see her original printing in around the Return to Ravnica block. The Conclave had discovered that Niv Mizzet and his Izzet League were in search of something, and the Selesnyans were very curious of their curiosity. So she went to Jace again to make amends, but to also ask for help, knowing he had dealt with the Izzet before. Sadly, Jace couldn't help her, believing this was way too dangerous of a situation for either of them to get involved with. But the danger had already caught up to them. House Dimir was seeking answers as well, from both of them, and they'd get it from the tip of a dagger. After escaping, Jace went off to investigate on his own, and he discovered the truth. Knowing he couldn't share what he learned with any of the other guilds seeking it, Jace wiped his own memory. A fate Emmara looked to stop but was too late to intervene. Still, this did prevent the Dimir and Rakdos, acting under Dimir's manipulation, from targeting Jace for a short time. But the Rakdos still attacked Emmara. While taken by the Rakdos, Emmara was able to break free and find a safe hiding spot in the Undercity, the realm of the Golgari. Jace tracked her down in this rot, but they were attacked by Vorthos. Emmara managed to defeat him with her summoned elementals, but the pair weren't safe yet, as the Dimir had continued to follow Jace and now had two targets of interests in the same location. Mirko Vosk attacked them relentlessly, but stopped after discovering Jace had wiped his own memory and carried no knowledge of the Izzet's plans. Emmara, however, was seriously injured and returned to Selesnya territory to heal with Jace in tow. Emmara didn't find much love back home either. Lazav, the leader of House Dimir, had taken up one of the guild's high-ranking officials as he disguised himself to manipulate the guild, and he was pretty successful. Thanks to her abduction, the guild and its leader were beating the drums of war, and obligated by her situation, Emmara called up the greater elementals and they marched for Rakdos territory. Still under the Dimir's manipulation, the Selesnyans accidentally attacked the Boros Legion, while also in open conflict with the Rakdos. The battle would have been much more costly, but the Izzet revealed their grand experiment, the secret so many were after, the existence of the Implicit Maze and the chance for one guild to rule all of Ravnica. This stopped the fighting almost immediately. Emmara was selected as the Selesnyan Guild champion and runner of the maze, with Jace giving her everything he had rediscovered about the Implicit Maze and how to run it. She ran afoul of a number of threats, Ralzarek, the Planeswalker of the Izzet, and Exava of the Rakdos. She even faced the demonic guild leader Rakdos himself, only being saved as Trostani intervened. Emmara, along with the other guild champions, eventually made it to the Forum of Azor, the plan B of the ancient planeswalker to restore order to Ravnica should the original guild pact break or destroy the city world in its entirety. Manipulated and clouded by the idea of control over Ravnica, all of the guild champions began to fight one another, and the ultimatum was almost enforced. That is, until Jace Beleren stepped in, merged the minds of all the champions in their guilds, getting an equal understanding of all their perspectives. The Forum of Azor recognized this and awarded Jace the power of the Living Guild Pact, restoring the order and nature of Ravnica. The last we see of Emmara is her visiting her new, very powerful friend, and begging him to erase her memory. Through their journey and their confrontation with Ralzarek, Emmara came to learn of Planeswalkers, Jace's true nature, and of other worlds. This was knowledge she didn't want, and thus Jace wiped it from her. Emmara now knows only that hatred and pain can be destructive forces, but faith and trust can repair any damage done. She stands with her guild, a shining example of Selesnyan values in a time when they may be put to the ultimate test. Emmara of the Accord may serve the voices of Matt Selesnya, but right now, she's the guild's soul. Anyway guys, that's a quick little recap and Vorthos spoiler bite, if you want to put it that way, on the soul of Selesnya, Emmara Tandris. Let me know what you guys think about her story and her potential role in Guilds of Ravnica, along with your thoughts on her new card, Soul of the Accord, in the comment section below. You can join the Vorthos Guild and get this video early with other exclusive perks by checking out our Patreon page linked in the description below. You can also support the channel by subscribing, throwing this video a like, and of course sharing it across the multiverse. As always guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time here on the Aether Hub.